This information is presented by Bluewater Auto Restoration.
Welcome back. This is week 9 of the 2026 Bluewater Auto Restoration Podcast. We release new podcasts every Saturday morning. In this deep dive, we look at smartphone integration in older cars.
Oh, yeah, it is great to be back. And today, we are tackling a subject that I think it really touches a nerve for almost everyone who loves cars, but also, lives in the modern world.
Oh, for sure.
That's that constant friction between having a car with mechanical soul and wanting digital convenience.
Absolutely. And I mean, before we get into the nuts and bolts and the miles of wiring, I really want to set the scene for everyone listening because, well, we've all been there.
Yeah, we have.
Picture this.
Yeah.
You have a car you absolutely adore. Maybe it's reliable and finally paid off, which is just a beautiful feeling in this economy.
The best feeling.
Right. Or maybe it's a straight-up classic from the late 90s or early 2000s that still turns heads at traffic lights. The engine purrs, the seats are broken in just right, the styling is timeless, but
Then you turn the key. Exactly. You turn the key, the dashboard lights up, and the technology feels like a fossil.
it's the classic disconnect.
Yeah.
You have this machine that is mechanically perfect, like it's capable of driving cross-country without a single hiccup, but the user interface, the radio, the navigation, it's stuck in the era of flip phones.
It is. You're driving a masterpiece, but you're squinting at this pixelated display that looks like a calculator from 1998, or worse, you're fumbling with a CD wallet at 60 miles an hour.
I remember those CD visors. Terrifying.
Yeah, super dangerous. And the core dilemma we're unpacking in this deep dive is basically this. Do you go out and buy a brand new car, taking on a massive monthly payment just to get Spotify and Google Maps on the dashboard? Or is there a better way to bridge that gap?
That really is the million-dollar question. Well, maybe the $40,000 question. And honestly, it's a financial issue as much as a technical one.
Right.
Our mission for this deep dive is to prove that you do not need a 2026 vehicle to have 2026 connectivity. We're going to analyze the entire landscape of solutions.
From the cheap stuff to the high-end stuff.
Exactly. From the $20 gas station gadgets all the way up to the high-end $1,500 system overhauls that essentially give your car a full brain transplant.
And there's a huge sustainability angle here too, right? Because I feel like we always talk about EVs being green, but isn't keeping an old car running actually better in a lot of ways?
Oh, it's a massive sustainability angle. The most eco-friendly car is very often the one that already exists. Manufacturing a brand new vehicle creates this massive carbon footprint.
Just building it.
Right. Mining the lithium, stamping the steel, shipping all those parts globally. So by upgrading just the tech in your current car, you're extending its life cycle. You aren't manufacturing 2 tons of new materials. You're just upgrading a few pounds of silicon and copper.
I love that perspective. It's like retrofitting a historic house with smart lights. You keep the character, but you get the modern convenience.
That is a perfect analogy.
Before we jump into the specific solutions, just a quick bit of housekeeping. If you want to know more about keeping those classics running mechanically, don't forget to visit the BluewaterAutoRestoration.com website.
And remember that our podcasts are available on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or SoundCloud.
Okay, let's unpack this. We need to start with the context. Why does this gap exist, and why is it so particularly annoying right now?
Well, we call it the tech gap.
Mm-hmm.
Generally speaking, cars built before 2014, and honestly, even some up to 2018, are in this weird limbo.
How do you mean?
They're mechanically sound, they have modern safety features like ABS, traction control, crumple zones, so they are safe to drive.
Yeah.
But they lack the game-changing integration of Apple CarPlay or Android Auto.
I saw a great anecdote in our notes about this exact thing. It was comparing a 1990 Mercedes E-Class, a total tank of a car.
Oh, a total classic.
Yeah.
German engineering at its absolute peak.
Right. But it had no screen at all, just a basic radio.
Right.
Then comparing that to a 2014 Subaru BRZ, now 2014 sounds modern, right? Had a touchscreen.
Technically, yes.
But the point was that the 2014 experience was actually worse than the 1990 experience. How is that possible? Having a screen is worse than no screen.
Because that is the uncanny valley of car tech. That era, roughly 2010 to 2015, was the awkward teenage years of infotainment.
The awkward teenage years.
Yeah, you had what we call resistive touchscreens. You know, the plastic ones where you had to physically mash them with your fingernail to get any kind of response.
Oh, man, I hated those. You'd press navigate and wait 3 full seconds for it to register.
Exactly. Whereas your smartphone today, uses a capacitive screen that reacts to the electricity in your skin instantly.
Night and day difference.
And plus, the navigation software in those 2014 cars was hard-coded on an SD card or hard drive. It doesn't know about the new highway exit that got built last year.
On traffic.
Right, doesn't know about the traffic jam 3 miles ahead.
All right.
So you end up with a screen taking up space in your dash that is objectively worse than the phone sitting in your pocket.
Which leads to the exact behavior we see everywhere on the highway. People mounting their phones on air vents, balancing them in cup holders, or the absolute worst, just holding them in their laps while they drive.
Which is incredibly dangerous.
Yeah.
And that's the baseline we were trying to fix here.
So let's start at the bottom. We'll call it level 1, the quick fixes. Let's say I'm a college student on a budget, or I'm renting a car for a week and I have $20. What do I do?
Level 1 is the no install tier. And the most ubiquitous solution here is the FM transmitter.
Wait, I remember these from high school. You tune the radio to 88.3 and just hope for the best. Are these actually still a thing?
They are very much still a thing, but they have evolved slightly. The core concept is still simple. You plug a device into the 12V outlet, what we used to call the cigarette lighter.
Right.
It pairs with your phone via Bluetooth. Then it contains a tiny, extremely low-power radio station transmitter. It broadcasts your music on an FM frequency, and your car radio picks it up.
But here's my issue with them. Static. I feel like you drive 3 miles down the highway and suddenly a religious station or a pop station bleeds right over your music.
Yeah, that is the fundamental flaw of the technology. It's called frequency drift. The FCC strictly limits how powerful these personal transmitters can be because they don't want you jamming the signal of the car next to you in traffic.
Makes sense.
So the signal is intentionally weak. If you live in a dense city like Los Angeles or New York, the FM band is totally packed. There is no empty frequency. You are constantly fighting the noise floor.
So why do people even buy them if they sound bad?
Because they are completely universal. Every single car on the road has an FM radio and a 12V outlet. And they are cheap. You can get a basic one for $15. Though I will say, if you are going this route, spend the extra money for a $40 or $50 unit.
What does the extra money actually get you?
Better Bluetooth chips, usually Bluetooth 5.0 or 5.3, which means a much stronger, more stable connection to your phone, and crucially, better noise cancellation on the microphone.
Oh, for phone calls.
Right. Because remember, if you take a call, the other person is hearing all your cabin noise. Cheap transmitters make you sound like you're calling them from inside a blender.
That's a great tip. Okay, so that's the bottom of the barrel. Functional, but frustrating. What if I have a slightly newer old car? Say a 2008 Honda with that little hole in the dash.
The O port. The 3.5mm headphone jack. If you have this, you are in luck. You can get a Bluetooth O adapter.
How is that different from the FM thing we just talked about?
It skips the radio waves entirely. It's a hardwired audio connection into the car's system. The adapter plugs into the 12V for power and the O port for sound. Your phone sends digital audio to the adapter via Bluetooth. The adapter converts it to analog and pumps it directly into your car's amplifier.
So no static at all.
Zero static.
Yeah.
Much higher fidelity. It's really the difference between listening to a worn-out cassette tape and a clear CD.
But we still have the core problem, right? I'm listening to high-quality audio, but where are my maps?
They are still on your lap. Or in a suction cup mount on the windshield that falls off every time the temperature changes.
I hate that sound. The thwack, the plastic mount hitting the dashboard in the middle of a tight turn.
It's the absolute worst. And this brings us back to the safety argument. We aren't just trying to play music here. The goal of modern smartphone integration is to reduce cognitive load.
Cognitive load, explain that.
When you look at a 6-inch phone screen, the buttons are tiny. You have to actively focus your eyes and your brain to hit next track or check an upcoming turn. CarPlay and Android Auto are designed with massive buttons and highly simplified interfaces so you can operate them with just a split-second glance.
So relying on your raw phone screen is inherently less safe because you're staring at it longer.
The data absolutely supports that.
Yep.
Having hands-free calling and eye-level navigation are critical safety features today, not just conveniences.
Okay, so let's move up a tier. Let's go to level 2. This is a category that I feel didn't even exist 5 years ago, or at least if it did, it wasn't good. The portable screen.
Yes, the dashboard tablet. You'll see names like CarPlay, Cardablet, or a bunch of generic alphabet soup brands online.
Describe this to me. Is it just an iPad glued to the dash?
It looks a bit like one, but it's purpose-built for the harsh car environment. It's a standalone widescreen display. usually 7 to 10 inches diagonal. It comes with a heavy-duty mount, either for the windshield with a suction cup or the dash with adhesive.
And it just plugs in.
Exactly. It plugs into the 12V outlet for power. But the real magic is the software inside. It natively runs the full Apple CarPlay or Android Auto interface.
So it connects to my phone wirelessly the second I get in.
Correct. You get in the car, turn the key, the portable screen wakes up, and boom, your phone connects via Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. You instantly have Waze, Spotify, Google Maps right there on a big, clear screen.
But wait, how does the sound get from this tablet into the car speakers?
That's the clever part. The screen acts as a bridge. It takes the audio from your phone and sends it to the car, either via that FM transmitter tech we talked about earlier or via a physical O cable, if your car has one.
So it's basically the brain of a 2026 car, but it's using the vocal cords of a 2005 car.
That's a great analogy, yes. And the cost bracket is really approachable. You're looking at maybe $150 to $400 depending on the size and features.
I have to play devil's advocate here, though. Does it look cheap? I mean, you have this big screen sitting on top of your dashboard, and then you have thick power wires draping down the center console to the cigarette lighter. It feels a bit like a taxi cab setup.
That is the major con, aesthetics. It does not look factory. It sits on the dash, not in it. It might block a little bit of your windshield view depending on how you angle them out. And yes, the cable management is a nightmare unless you get really creative with little adhesive clips to route the wires cleanly.
But for some people, that's a trade-off they are more than willing to make.
Absolutely. Think about two specific types of customers. Customer A is the renter, or the person who changes cars often, or maybe a family that shares multiple older cars. You can literally just take the screen with you from car to car.
Oh, that's true. Just unplug it and move it.
And customer B is the classic car purist.
Right. If I have a pristine 1985 Porsche 911, I am definitely not cutting a hole in the dashboard to install a touchscreen.
Exactly. You would destroy the interior resale value. With a portable unit, you can mount it securely for a weekend road trip to have modern, reliable navigation. And then when you get to the car show, you just unplug it, hide it in the glove box, and your vintage interior is 100% stock again.
That makes total sense. It's a temporary, non-destructive upgrade. I also noticed some of these units actually have cameras built right into them.
Yes, the Westod's units and a few similar brands. They realize that since they already have a computer and a screen mounted on the dash looking forward, why not put a camera lens on the back of it?
Smart.
So it acts as a high-definition dash cam, recording the road ahead continuously. Some even come with a second, wired camera that you can run to your rear license plate to act as a backup camera.
So for around $300, you get modern navigation, streaming music, a dash cam, and a backup cam. That's a massive amount of value.
It really is. It's probably the highest bang for the buck in this entire discussion. But again, the downside is it's still clutter. And it's still something that can easily be stolen if you leave it out in plain sight in a city.
Right. Smash and grab. So if you want the real deal, if you want to trick your passengers into thinking, wait, did this 2008 truck actually come with a massive screen? You have to go to level 3, the gold standard, aftermarket head units.
This is the deep end of the pool, full surgery.
Yeah.
We are talking about ripping the old factory radio completely out of the dashboard and installing a new computer in its place.
And the cost jumps significantly here, right?
It does. You are looking at $400 to $1,200 just for the hardware itself.
Yeah.
Then you have the installation costs on top of that. But the result is completely transformative.
Let's talk about the visual aspect first. We've all seen the inside of a Tesla or a new Ford Mach-E, those giant vertical tablet-like screens. I was actually surprised to learn you can get those for old cars.
Oh yeah, it is the Tesla style shift. The aftermarket industry is incredibly reactive to trends. For popular vehicles, specifically big American trucks like the F-150, the Dodge Ram, the Chevy Silverado companies are making these massive 12-inch, 14-inch vertical touchscreens.
But those older trucks have physical knobs for the air conditioning and the fan speed. What happens to them?
They get deleted.
Just gone.
Gone. The new screen unit is a complete replacement for the entire center control stack. You lose the physical knobs, and your climate controls become digital buttons on the bottom section of the new touchscreen.
I have to be honest, that scares me a little bit. I really like reaching down and turning a physical knob to crank up the heat without having to take my eyes off the road. Does that bother people?
It is a very polarizing topic in the car community. Some people absolutely love the futuristic command center look. It makes a 10-year-old work truck look brand new inside. But others, usually the purists or the tactile drivers, hate losing that physical feel. It's a definite trade-off.
Now, for those of us who don't drive massive trucks, we have to talk about standard sizing. I see the terms single DN and double D everywhere when looking at car stereos. It sounds like total gibberish. Decode that for us.
It's actually a German acronym. DIN stands for Deutsches Institut für Normung.
Wow, okay.
It was a manufacturing standard established back in the 80s so that all car radios globally would be roughly the same physical size, making them interchangeable.
German efficiency strikes again. I like it.
Exactly. Single DN is the skinny rectangular slot about 2 inches tall and 7 inches wide. Think of a 1990s Honda Civic or a Miata. Double DN is just twice as tall. A big square, about 4 inches tall. Think of a 2000s Chevy Tahoe or a Nissan Altima.
But if my car has the big square double D on hole, I can just buy any modern square screen and shove it right in.
Theoretically, yes. A standard 7-inch or 8-inch touchscreen fits perfectly into a double Dion slot. Once you put the trim ring around it, it looks completely flush, clean, and factory installed.
But what if I have the skinny single Dion slot? Am I just doomed to listen to cassettes and FM radio forever?
Not at all. You have two main options today. The older option is a flip-out screen, where a motorized screen physically slides out of the skinny slot and flips up in front of the dash. It's very Fast and Furious early 2000s vibes.
That feels a bit too mechanical. Lots of tiny moving plastic parts to break.
Correct. The gears strip out eventually. The modern, much better solution is the floating screen.
How does that work?
The chassis of the radio, the brains, and the amplifier fits perfectly into the skinny slot in the dash. But the screen itself is separate. It floats in front of the dashboard, usually attached by a rigid adjustable arm. It basically looks like an iPad hovering right in front of your air vents.
Okay, so physically fitting the radio is one thing, but connecting it, that's where the nightmares begin, right? The nervous system of the car.
This is exactly where people get in way over their heads with DIY installs. In a 1980 car, a radio was literally just a power wire, a ground wire, and 4 speaker wires. Incredibly easy. In a 2010 car, the radio is a node on the CAN bus network.
CAN bus?
Controller area network. It is the internet of the car. The radio talks to the steering wheel. It talks to the dashboard gauge cluster. It talks to the factory amplifier. If you just grab wire cutters, snip the factory harness, and splice in a new radio, you sever all those digital connections.
So your steering wheel volume buttons just stop working.
Exactly. Or your factory backup camera goes black. Or in some really integrated cars, your main dashboard display stops showing the outside temperature or compass. To fix this and retain those features, you need an interface module.
What's that?
It's a little black box, basically a microcomputer, that acts as a translator. It takes a proprietary digital signal from the car's steering wheel and converts it into a standard signal that the new Sony or Pioneer radio understands.
And I imagine those little translator boxes aren't cheap.
They can range from $50 to $200, just for the wiring adapter alone.
Let's talk about the hard mode cars. Our sources mention that European luxury cars, your BMWs, Mercedes, Audis, are a completely different beast. Why is that?
Oh, the Germans again. But this time, they severely over-engineered it. In the early 2000s, many European cars switched to using fiber optics to send audio signals throughout the car. It's a system called MOST, M-O-S-T.
Wait, light beams instead of regular copper speaker wire?
Yes, fiber optics. It is incredible for keeping audio quality pure and free of electrical interference, but it is an absolute nightmare for aftermarket upgrading because it's a closed ring,
Hooray.
a continuous loop of light. The radio sends light to the amplifier, which sends light to the CD changer, which sends light to the navigation drive, back to the radio. If you unplug the factory radio, you break the loop of light, the amplifier shuts down, the CD changer shuts down, the whole infotainment system dies. The car might not even start in some extreme security cases because the main data loop is broken.
Wow. So you can't just buy a radio at Best Buy and wire it up.
You can, but you have to completely bypass the entire fiber optic system. This means physically rewiring the speakers directly to the new radio, running brand new copper wires under the carpet to every single door. It is a massive, incredibly expensive labor undertaking.
Is there an alternative? Because that sounds like open heart surgery I really don't want to pay for.
There is. It's the module approach, or the piggyback method. Instead of replacing the screen or the radio, you install a hidden box deep behind the dashboard that hijacks the video feed going to the factory screen.
Hijacks it, like a spy gadget.
Exactly like that.
Yeah.
You keep your stock screen, you keep your stock radio and fiber optics. But when you hold down the menu button on your console controller for 3 seconds, this hidden box interrupts the video signal and displays full Apple CarPlay on your original screen.
That is slick. So when the car is off, it looks 100% factory.
100%. And you navigate CarPlay using the original factory scroll knob. It is the absolute perfect solution for keeping the pristine aesthetic of a BMW E46 or an older Mercedes while secretly getting modern brains.
That feels like the ultimate stealth option. Now, I want to pivot to a topic that confuses everyone. I see ads on Instagram and TikTok constantly for wireless CarPlay adapters. They say, plug this $80 dongle in and get CarPlay instantly.
We need to put a giant red warning label on this segment.
Yeah.
This is without a doubt the biggest misconception in the entire car audio market right now.
Let's be crystal clear for the audience. If I have a 2005 Honda Civic with a basic CD player and I buy this $80 wireless dongle, will it give me CarPlay?
No, absolutely not. It will do nothing. It will be a shiny plastic paperweight.
So what do these things actually do then?
They are exclusively for cars that already have wired CarPlay built in from the factory. Think of like a 2018 Chevy Malibu. It has CarPlay, but you have to physically plug your phone into the USB port with a cable every single time you get in the car. It's annoying.
Total first world problems.
Indeed. But these dongles plug into that specific data USB port. The dongle pretends to be an iPhone. The car thinks, oh, a phone is plugged in and boots up CarPlay. Then, the dongle broadcasts its own Wi-Fi network. Your actual phone connects to the dongle wirelessly from your pocket. It's just a bridge. It converts an existing wired system to a wireless one.
It cuts the cord. It doesn't create the system out of thin air.
Precisely. If your car doesn't have the CarPlay software heavily baked into its factory computer, the dongle has nothing to talk to.
Okay, that definitely saves some of our listeners $80 and a lot of frustration. But let's talk about wireless versus wired in general. Even if I go out and buy a fancy new $1,000 head unit that supports both, should I really care about wireless?
Wireless is very cool. It feels magical to just leave your phone in your pocket, start the engine, and have your map just magically appear on the dash. But there are serious trade-offs. The biggest one by far is latency.
Like lag.
Yes. Because high-definition video and audio are being streamed over a local Wi-Fi connection, there is an inherent delay. When you hit skip track on the steering wheel, it might take a full second or two for the song to actually change. When you are watching a video while parked, of course, the lips on the screen might not match the audio coming from the speakers.
That would drive me crazy. And what about boot up time?
That's the daily annoyance. Wired is instant. You plug the Lightning or USB-C cable in and bam, the map is there. Wireless has to do a complex handshake. Your phone connects to Bluetooth, then the radio negotiates the Wi-Fi credentials, then it can easily take 15 to 30 seconds after you start the car before the map finally appears.
That feels like an eternity when you're late for work trying to back out of a tight driveway and you just want to see the backup camera or type in your destination.
It really does. And then there's battery drain. Continuously transmitting video over Wi-Fi torches your phone's battery. So on a long road trip, you end up having to plug it in to charge anyway.
So the old school wired connection is actually still the king for pure reliability.
For audiophiles who want lossless digital audio and road trippers who need a charged phone, absolutely yes. Wireless can introduce compression artifacts to your music.
Let's get into the specifics of the installation, because I feel like every listener's thinking, could I just do this myself on a Saturday? We have a vehicle compatibility guide from the sources. Who actually has it easy?
The easy tier is heavily dominated by Japanese commuter cars. Your Honda Civics, Toyota Camrys, Subaru Foresters, specifically the generations from roughly 2008 to maybe 2018.
Why are they considered easy?
Scale and simplicity. They sold millions of these cars. The dashboard designs are mechanically simple, usually just held together by standard plastic pop clips and 4 Phillips head screws. And the aftermarket support is massive. You can go online and buy a vehicle-specific kit that includes the exact plastic trim to match your dash color, the pre-wired harness, everything. It's basically like snapping Legos together.
And American trucks.
Same exact story. Massive, massive ecosystem. Ford F-150s are arguably the most modified vehicles on the planet. You can easily do almost anything to them with off-the-shelf parts.
Okay, so who is in the trap tier? The cars that look like they should be easy, but are actually a nightmare.
General Motors.
Ew.
Chevy and GMC vehicles from the mid-2000s onwards.
Really? Why? They seem so standard and common.
It's the chimes.
The chimes, like the door dings.
Exactly. In a GM car, the click-click sound of your turn signal, the ding-ding sound when you leave your keys in the ignition, the low fuel warning. Those sounds don't come from a little mechanical buzzer behind the dash. They are digital audio files generated by the factory radio and played physically to the driver's door speaker.
No way. Are you serious?
Yes. So if you rip out the factory radio to put in a Pioneer, you completely lose your turn signal sounds, you lose your OnStar audio, you lose your critical safety warnings.
That's wild. I never would have guessed the radio controlled the turn signal click.
Right, so to fix it, you have to buy a special, expensive integration module that actually has a little plastic speaker built into it just to simulate those safety sounds, or a much more complex module that intercepts and injects the sounds back into the new aftermarket amplifier system. It adds significant cost and wiring complexity.
And we already covered the German fiber optic nightmare. What about very old cars? True classics.
If you are driving a true classic, say a pre-1970 vehicle, you have a fundamental voltage issue. Modern tech, from screens to phone chargers, runs on a 12-volt electrical system. Some older cars, like early Volkswagen Beetles or vintage Fords, run on a 6-volt system.
So it just won't work.
If you try to wire a modern capacitive touchscreen into a 6V Beetle, it simply won't have enough juice to turn on. Or worse, try to hack the wiring together wrong, you can create a serious fire hazard. You need specialized voltage step-up converters to safely bridge that gap.
Okay, that definitely sounds like call up professional territory. Which brings us perfectly to the installation reality check. I watch YouTube videos where guys swap a radio in 20 minutes flat. Is that timeline real?
It's real if you're a professional who has done that specific car 50 times. For a first-timer, doing it in their driveway, it is an absolute minefield. The biggest risk actually isn't the electricity, it's the plastic.
Breaking things.
Trim clips. Modern cars are held together by these incredibly fragile, hidden plastic tension clips. If you pull a dash panel at the slightly wrong angle, snap. Now your dashboard has a permanent annoying rattle every time you hit a bump, where you slip and scratch the soft-touch dashboard material with a metal screwdriver. You can't unscratch that, you just have to look at it every day.
That would drive me insane. And then there's the yellow wire issue I read about.
Yes, the airbag wire. The golden rule of car audio, do not touch the yellow connectors.
What happens?
Yellow looming always denotes the SRS system, the airbags. The system is hypersensitive. Say you need to unplug a little passenger airbag warning light just to get a dashboard panel off. If you then turn on the car's ignition to test if your new radio powers up while that light is unplugged, the car's central computer instantly thinks the entire airbag safety network has failed. It throws a permanent SRS warning light on your dash.
And I'm guessing you can't just clear that by disconnecting the battery.
Usually no. You have to take it to a dealership or a mechanic with a highly specialized diagnostic scanner to reset the module. It's a $150 mistake for just turning the key at the wrong moment.
Ouch. So DIY is feasible for the portable screens or simple Japanese car swaps, but for full surgery on anything complex, you highly recommend a pro.
If you value your weekend, your interior plastics, and your overall sanity, yes, let a professional handle the headaches.
Let's talk about the wallet again. We threw out some big numbers earlier, but let's actually total it up for the listener. What are the specific hidden costs of a pro install?
It's never just the price on the box of the radio. Let's say you buy a really nice, responsive Sony or Alpine unit for $500. Then you need the CAN bus wiring harness, which is $20 to $150.
Depending on those GM chimes.
Right. Then the steering wheel control adapter is usually another $50. The dash kit, the molded plastic frame that makes it look factory, is $30 to $50. You might need an antenna adapter for another $10.
It adds up incredibly fast.
You're easily sitting at $750 just in boxes of parts. Now, add the labor. A reputable professional shop charges anywhere from $100 to $150 an hour. A proper clean install where they route the microphone cable invisibly, flush mount the USB ports, and wire up a reverse camera through the trunk is easily a 3 to 5 hour job.
So we are looking at $300 to $800 just in pure labor.
Correct. So the true all-in price for a properly done, factory-looking upgrade is very often between $1,200 and $1,500.
I can hear the listeners flinching right now. $1,500 for a radio in a car that the Kelley Blue Book says might only be worth $8,000 total.
I know, it sounds disproportionately high.
Yeah.
But let's reframe it entirely. Go to a dealership today. Look at the sticker prices. What is the average monthly payment on a brand new car in 2026? $700? $800.
Easily. Plus significantly higher insurance premiums for full coverage.
Exactly. So this $1,500 tech upgrade is essentially equivalent to just 2 months of new car payments. If spending that money makes you happy enough to keep your totally paid off Honda for another 3 or 4 years, it is the single best financial decision you can make. It's not an expense. It's an avoidance of a much, much larger expense.
That is the big aha moment. The upgrade is cheaper than just the sales tax on a new vehicle.
Precisely. You are intelligently investing in the longevity and usability of your existing asset.
Okay, let's say we've done it. We bit the bullet. We paid the pro. We have the beautiful system. How do we make it great? Because I feel like people install these things and then literally never touch the factory settings.
Optimization is the key to actually enjoying it. The first thing you have to check is the microphone placement. If you are doing a DIY install, or even if you're inspecting a pro's work before you pay them, look exactly where they stuck the Bluetooth mic.
Where should it ideally be?
High up, ideally clipped near the rearview mirror or mounted on the A-pillar, that's the structural post, between the windshield and the driver's door. And it needs to be physically pointing right at your mouth. The biggest mistake is putting it on the steering column directly in front of the AC vents.
Oh, because of the fan blowing, the wind tunnel effect.
Exactly. It makes Siri or Google Assistant completely unusable. I didn't catch that over and over while you're shouting at your dashboard.
What about the actual audio quality, the EQ settings?
Most modern aftermarket head units have incredibly powerful digital equalizers. We're talking 13-band or more. But out of the box, the factory setting is usually perfectly flat. It sounds lifeless and boring.
Right.
You need to dive into that menu, boost the bass frequencies a little bit, boost the highs to give the vocals some crispness, because aftermarket radios output significantly more clean wattage than a cheap factory radio. You can make 15-year-old stock paper speakers sound surprisingly rich and dynamic just by giving them better power and proper tuning.
And what about the software interface itself? I actually discovered recently you can fully rearrange the icons on CarPlay. I had no idea.
Yes. So many people don't know this. You don't do it on the car screen, you do it on your phone, go to Settings, then General, then CarPlay. You can physically drag the app icons around to customize the layout.
That's so useful.
It changes everything. If you never, ever listen to podcasts, drag that icon to the very last page so it's out of your way. If you exclusively use Google Maps instead of Apple Maps, put Google Maps on the persistent dock on the left side so it's always exactly one tap away, no matter what app you're in.
Customization. Make it work for your specific brain.
Exactly. And really look into third-party apps. CarPlay isn't just for music and text anymore. There are great apps for EV charging networks like PlugShare, parking reservation apps like Spot Hero. Even Dunkin' Donuts has a native CarPlay app for ordering your coffee from the dash.
Please tell me people aren't ordering donuts while doing 70 on the freeway.
Well, ideally well parked. But the point is, the ecosystem is rapidly growing. It's turning the dumb car into a fully connected smart device.
So we've covered the entire landscape. Let's do a really quick, definitive recap of the tiers for the listener who is sitting in their older car right now trying to decide what to do.
Sure thing. So Tier 1 is what we call the Band-Aid. That's your FM transmitters and Bluetooth O adapters. The cost is roughly $20 to $50. It is best for students, people in rental cars, or incredibly tight budgets. The main cons are there's no screen for maps, and you risk audio static.
Got it.
Tier 2 is the tablet, the portable screens. Cost is $150 to $400. This is great for DIY-averse people or classic car owners who absolutely want to keep their interior stock. The big cons here are a cluttered dashboard and dealing with exposed power wires.
And the final tier.
Tier 3 is the surgery, full head unit replacement. Cost is $1,000 to $1,500 fully installed. This is for the daily drivers who want a true seamless new car experience. The cons are obviously the high upfront expense and the technical risks of installation.
And the bottom line of this whole deep dive is really just do something. Pick a tier.
Yes. Emphatically yes. In 2026, with the sheer level of digital distraction we all face daily, getting your navigation instructions up to eye level is a critical safety imperative. Whether you spend $200 or $1,500, just get the phone out of your lap.
Expert, you always leave us with a provocative thought at the end of these sessions, something for the listener to chew on. What's the big picture takeaway here?
I've really been thinking deeply about the right to repair movement and the overall future trajectory of the automotive industry. We are currently living in a golden age of retrofitting. We have these millions of cars built from 2000 to 2018 that are mechanically brilliant, but digitally dumb enough to be easily modified. The radio is physically separate from the brakes.
Right, they operate independently.
But look at a 2026 Rivian, or a Tesla, or a Lucid. The massive central screen is the computer. It controls the air suspension, the complex battery thermal management, the windshield wipers, the glove box latch. You cannot rip that screen out. You cannot upgrade its processor with an aftermarket kit.
So if that highly integrated screen dies in, say, 15 years,
The car is effectively a brick. Or you are entirely beholden to the original manufacturer to fix it, assuming they even still exist or support that model. We might literally be looking at the last generation of vehicles that we can truly hack, modify, and organically improve over time. In 20 years, the concept of retrofitting a car's tech might be completely impossible.
that is a genuinely chilling thought for car enthusiasts. We are the last of the hot rodders, but instead of tuning carburetors, we're hot rodding software.
Enjoy the hackability while it lasts, because the walled gardens are closing in.
On that somewhat heavy note, thank you so much for guiding us through this incredibly complex maze. This has been hugely eye-opening.
Always a pleasure to be here.
Don't forget to visit BluewaterAutoRestoration.com. Our podcasts are available on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcast, or SoundCloud. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.
Drive safe, everyone.